This is Acnn News Update. Welcome. The Bishop of the Diocese of Egbo Anglican Communion, Imo State, the Right Reverend Geoffrey Okorafor, has harped on the primacy of divine grace or favor in the life of every Christian or church. Bishop Okorafor said this during his sermon at the christening of Emmanuel Chapel, Amerike Ungor, which the bishop named Divine Favor Anglican Church, Amerike Ungor. According to Right Reverend Okorafor, the chapel planted by Emmanuel Anglican Church, Umwanyika Ungor, in Ungor Archdeaconry, has enjoyed much of God's grace since it was established in February 2015, including the purchase and donation of 4 plots of land for the church permanent site by Reverend Canon and Mrs. James Nwogo, based in the U.S. The sermon was taken from Acts of the Apostles, chapter 3, verses 1 to 16. The president of the Nigerian Baptist Convention, Reverend Israel Akanji, has charged religious leaders to use their enormous influence over their followers to encourage participation in the electoral process and to shun all forms of violence. He gave this charge in Abuja during his address at the Interfaith Press Conference organized by Community Life Project Reclaim Niger in collaboration with religious leaders. Akanji, who is also the president of All Africa Fellowship, said religious leaders have a moral obligation to protect poor and vulnerable citizens, especially people at the grassroots and in the rural communities. Meanwhile, the former chairman of the Christian Association of Nigeria in the FCT, while speaking on hateful and divisive rhetoric on the pulpit, said Nigeria needed healing and cleansing and not hateful speeches and fiery rhetoric that could destabilize the nation. He urged INEC to ensure that no citizen is denied access to their PVCs due to administrative lapses, delays, or inefficiency in the distribution process, calling on the electoral body to consider extending the deadline for PVC collection at the ward level beyond the January 15th deadline. About 7 weeks to the general elections, an interfaith organization raised the alarm over the alleged denial of citizens access to permanent voter cards based on ethnic and partisan considerations. The organization therefore called on the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to address old politics that could disenfranchise Nigerians registered for the election. This observation came few hours after INEC raised fresh fears that the general elections would face serious threats of cancellation and postponement if security challenges across parts of the country fail to improve. It also observed other lapses with a demand that INEC should endeavor to get it right at the various stages and processes from pre-election to election day to ease the heightening fear that a large percentage of the over 6 million voters without PVC could not be allowed to perform their civic duty. The Christian Association of Nigeria, Acnn, said there has been positive changes in terms of Boko Haram attacks under the President Muhammadu Buhari administration. The chairman of the Apex Christian body in Taraba State, Reverend Isaiah Magaji, stated this in a telephone conversation with reporters, saying, quote, "I will not be telling the truth if I say there has not been positive changes in the constancy of Boko Haram attacks," end of quote. Magaji noted that many persons internally displaced by Boko Haram insurgents in the northeast region have returned to their respective communities and homes because the security forces have contained the activities of the armed insurrectionists. He, however, said the Boko Haram agenda against Christians have assumed new and subtle dimensions which the government has not been able to address, adding that the Boko Haram situation is based on a hidden agenda, as the situation in the northeast was planned to oust the Goodluck Jonathan administration and bring in a Muslim as president. Reverend Isaiah Magaji also said the second phase of the Boko Haram agenda is on, but not with guns and bombs as it used to be, but through the kidnapping of pastors. And a province in Taliban-controlled Afghanistan has reportedly alleged passed a measure banning women from seeing male doctors. The Directorate of Public Affairs and Hearing of Taliban Complaints in the Balkh province recently made the announcement, according to the Pakistani-based news publication named The Current. The provincial leadership will also apparently create separate working spaces for male and female hospital workers and prohibit male doctors from working into rooms with female patients. Human Rights Watch and an expert on women's rights issues and a native of Afghanistan, Sahara Fetrat, while speaking on the new development, said that the report doesn't come as a shock given the Taliban's continuous infringement of women's rights and restriction of women's access to basic rights and facilities. And that's all we can take for now. Please join us at 3 p.m. West African time for the news on the hour. I am Lavinia Tadagredo. Thank you for watching.
Beaming from the nation's capital, we bring to you the good news through various programming